My man, you already know the conversation. It's the one that you keep on delaying, the one you keep pushing to next week. And every day that you delay it, you pay a tax. Not in money, but in masculinity. The problem isn't that you're stuck. The problem is that you've been avoiding that one honest moment, and you call it being busy. Brother, you're high functioning at work. You handle pressure well. You lead meetings. You solve problems. Overall, you're dependable. But at home, you go quiet when it matters. You go numb. You go, fine. Here's the mirror that you need to look into. If you can lead a team, but you won't lead a conversation with your wife, that's not being stuck. That's simply hiding. And if you keep on avoiding this, you're not going to wake up divorced, but you're going to wake up with something worse. And that's something worse is that you'll be roommates. You'll live in the same house with the same kids and the same schedule. But there's not going to be any warmth. There's not going to be any trust. There's not going to be any closeness. Today, I'm going to give you the exact words, a 30-second script, if you will, so that you can start that conversation tonight. You're not going to start that conversation to win. You're not going to start it to defend yourself. You are going to start it to become close again, to come home. This, my friend, is the Sacred Gentleman Podcast. The Sacred Gentleman is a movement that calls men out of comfort and back into God's design, where we form leaders of presence, purpose, and generational legacy. I'm Steve Baumgartner, your host, and if you've been avoiding one honest conversation at home because you don't know how to lead it without turning it into a fight, I want to help you build a clear plan starting today. If you've clicked this, it's because there's a conversation that you've been delaying. Maybe it's about distance. Maybe it's about money. Maybe it's about resentment. Maybe it's about intimacy. Maybe it's about the way that you've been living like a roommate instead of living like her husband. Most men believe that they'll talk when they're ready, that they'll talk when work slows down, or when I'm less stressed, or when I can say it perfectly. But the sacred truth is this: readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Avoidance doesn't protect your marriage. It slowly starves it. I've watched men that I coach, very successful men, strong men, men who dominate in business. I've seen them shrink in their own living rooms. And I've also watched what happens when a man finally stops managing his image and starts leading with his presence. So I want you to listen closely. If your wife has stopped bringing things up, she's not bringing peace to the marriage. That's not things are better. That's often the moment that she decided that talking to you costs her too much, costs the family too much. Silence often means that she's tired of paying the emotional price to reach you. And I'm going to preview the first line of the script right now because this is the line that changes everything. It brings down the defenses. That line is, I'm not here to argue or defend myself. If you can say that sentence right there and mean it, you just change the atmosphere in your home. So here's the plan. I'm going to expose the disguises of avoidance so you can stop calling fear wisdom. I'm going to walk you through a conversation framework that keeps you grounded when your emotions rise. And I'll give you a decision tree for what to do when she responds. And then I'm going to give you a 30-second script that you can use tonight to talk to her. Finally, I'll give you a simple 48-hour action plan so this becomes a new rhythm, not a one-time moment. So stay with me, because the difference between a man who rebuilds his marriage and a man who becomes a roommate is whether he can stay steady when emotions rise. Avoidance has a cost, man. Always comes with a cost. You think that you're avoiding conflict, but what you're actually avoiding is exposure. Because if you open your mouth, one of three things might actually happen. She might tell you the truth, and you won't like how that feels. You might realize that you've actually been absent, and you won't like what that costs. Or worse, you'll see that she stopped expecting leadership from you. That's the mirror, gentlemen. A man can live with stress. He can live with pressure. He can live with fatigue. But what breaks him is actually this. It's when he's living in the same house with the woman that he vowed to love for the rest of his life, and he feels like he's losing her slowly. And the scariest part of all that, a lot of men don't even realize that they're losing her, because women have this way of still functioning. The house still runs. The kids still get to school. Dinners still happen. Schedules still work. But the marriage is starving in silence. Your home, I've said it 1,000 times, it follows the temperature of your soul. Avoidance is spiritual hypothermia. No one ever plans to become roommates in a marriage. They just avoid the conversations that keep love alive. Before I give you these 5 disguises, I want to warn you. You're going to feel your chest get abnormally tight. You might feel defensive. You might even want to click off. Don't. That discomfort isn't an attack by me. It's your mirror speaking back to you. The man who can stay present with his mirror is a man who can actually lead at home. Here's the forbidden thought that most men don't even want to admit. Some of you aren't avoiding a conversation. You're actually avoiding leadership. Because leadership at home doesn't come with applause. It comes with exposure. It comes with humility. It comes with your heart on the table. Now, I want to name these disguises. I want you to look for your pattern. Because when a man can name his own pattern, he can actually break that pattern. So the first disguise that I want to call out is the I'm tired disguise. You are tired. You're not lying. But here's the truth with that disguise. If you only give your wife what's left of you, don't be shocked when the relationship feels like leftovers. You'll say something like, I'm exhausted. What you really mean is, I don't know how to recover. And I don't want to be needed right now. A sacred gentleman learns recovery, not escape. Rest isn't scrolling on your phone. Rest is presence without having to perform. Disguise number 2, now isn't a good time. That's the disguise. When we translate that, it's I want control. Because hard conversations, they feel unpredictable. At work, you control outcomes. At home, emotions, they're simply not spreadsheets. So you delay, you postpone, you wait for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment, it doesn't exist. Leadership creates the moment. Stillness creates availability. A man doesn't wait for clarity to arrive on his lap. He moves towards it. Disguise number 3. She's just emotional. She's a B word. She's that time of the month. Whatever the case may be, she's just emotional. Guys, this one is deadly. Deadly. Because when you call her emotional or you say those other nasty things, what you're saying is, honey, your experience, it's not valid to me. And usually that's not what you mean. But that's what she feels. The translation for this one is, I'm afraid of intensity. Emotion is not the enemy. Disconnection's the enemy. Emotion is often just pain that's looking for safety. Disguise 4. I don't know what to say. We've all said that, right? When we translate that, it's, I'm afraid to fail. A lot of men think that leadership means having perfect words. Absolutely not. Leadership means showing up, staying calm, telling the truth. Your presence is part of your leadership. You don't need perfect language. You need an honest posture. Disguise number 5. We've talked about this before, honey. We've talked about it. Why can't you leave that in the past? Translation. I don't believe change is even possible. This is where cynicism creeps in. Cynicism kills intimacy. Hope is masculine. A man who believes in redemption can build a different future. I want to ask you a quick question, and I want you to answer it honestly in the comments. Which disguise is yours right now? Just write in the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. No shame, no explanation. I just want you to own it. Because the moment that you name it, you can choose to stop being ruled by it. I want to take you into a personal moment. This is years ago. And I'm not telling you a concept, but a real moment. The kitchen light was on. The rest of the house was dark. The counters were clean, but it wasn't peaceful. It felt like we were maintaining the house, but our marriage was quietly drifting apart. I'm standing there. I don't know, I was reading some mail or whatever I was doing. Really what I was doing was I was pacifying myself. I was standing there trying to act busy to numb the pain. And I remember hearing her footsteps coming, soft. And I didn't turn around right away to the doorway. Deep down, I already knew what it was, that feeling, that quiet tension, the unspoken distance between us. And my wife walks in and she leans against the doorway. She didn't yell at me. There was no explosion. It was just that calm, heavy sentence. And she asked me, "Do you even miss me?" I felt that in my chest. It was that tight feeling where your muscles just contract in your chest. That split-second panic. What do I say next? The first instinct, it isn't connection. The first instinct is defense. My mind starts building up that case immediately, right? I'm working my ass off. I'm out here providing. I'm stressed to the limit. I'm doing my best. But I actually didn't say any of that because I realized something in that moment that every man eventually has to face. If you can dominate the outside world, you still fail to bring your heart home, it's not leading. You're not leading your home. Your wife can feel that difference. And I remember that I turned toward her and I could see it in her face. It wasn't anger. She wasn't angry with me. She was lonely. And it was that kind of loneliness that makes women stop asking questions. And she hadn't for a long time. She stopped trying. She stopped trying to reach me. And it was in this moment that it hit me. I wasn't losing my marriage in one big betrayal. I was losing it in 1,000 avoided moments. And that's when the mirror showed itself to me. That my wife didn't need me to perform. She needed me to be present. She didn't need me to be a perfect man, but a present man. A man can be faithful and still be absent. A man can be good and still be unreachable. A man can provide and still fail to protect his wife's heart. The sacred gentleman doesn't punish his wife with emotional absence. He doesn't hide behind work. He doesn't outsource intimacy to someday. He comes home, not as a boy who needs comfort, but as a man who brings steadiness to his home. Strength, guys, it's not loud. It's not boisterous. Strength is steady. Steady means you don't run from the hard moment. You face it. This is where most men go wrong. They treat a marriage conversation like it's a debate. They come in with their points and their counterpoints, their evidence, their defenses, their counterattacks. And the whole thing becomes a courtroom. But your wife, she's not looking for a winner. She's looking for your emotional safety. So here's the framework, and it's simple, 5 steps. I want you to write these down. Step 1, be present before speaking words. Before you say anything, your nervous system is already speaking to her. Your tone, your eye contact, your breathing, your posture. If you come in tight, if you come in rushed, and you come in defensive, she's going to feel it instantly. You need to have a sacred posture. Slow down. Drop your shoulders. Plant your feet. Get rid of the phone. Have your face open. You don't need high volume. You need steadiness. Step 2, ownership, not explanation. Ownership sounds like this. Honey, I've been distant. That's on me. Explanation, on the other hand, sounds like, I've been distant because you, whatever, or I've been distant because work, whatever. And explanation, it triggers that courtroom. Ownership actually disarms everybody in the conversation. You're not saying you're the only problem. I want to make sure that that's clear. You're saying you're done hiding behind excuses and you're ready to fix it. Step 3, name the cost. Name the cost. She needs to feel like she's seen. Men skip this part and then wonder why nothing changes. So name the cost. I can feel the distance it's creating. I can see how it's affecting us. I can see how you've been carrying more alone. When you name that cost, you create emotional accuracy, and that's leadership. Step 4, invite her to her truth and also commit to listening to it. The average man talks, defends, and argues. What you're going to do is you're going to listen, you're going to absorb, and you're going to stay steady. Say this clearly. Honey, I want to hear you, and I'm going to listen. Then you got to actually do it. And that's hard for us guys. We're good debaters, but you need to listen without interruption, without correction, without any, no, that's not what I meant. You can clarify later. First, you need to receive. Step 5. You need to follow through within the next 24 hours. If you want trust in any relationship, you need repetition. Trust isn't built in one emotional conversation. It's built when your wife sees, dang, he meant what he said. So you end up with a next step, a time, a place, a plan. Masculine leadership is availability, its structure, and its follow-through. Stillness creates that availability. Structure holds the identity. Stay with me, because the difference between a man who rebuilds his marriage and a man who becomes a roommate is whether he can stay steady when emotions rise. Now here's a place where men get really stuck. The fear isn't the script. The fear is her response. Now you're going to get one of 5 common responses from your wife when you have this conversation. This conversation's that's different than what you used to. The first response is that she cries. Guys, I don't know about you, but a lot of men absolutely panic when women cry. We want to fix it. We want to stop it. Don't. Crying is often release. It's the nervous system letting go. What do you need to do? You need to stay present. Don't rush it. Don't explain. Simply say something like, I'm here. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. And then wait. Because you're calm, it's going to become her safety. The second response that she has might be that she's cold. Flat voice, short answers. No, it's fine. Coldness is protection. She's been disappointed enough times that being warm, it feels risky. So what I want you to do is don't demand emotion. I don't want you to chase her. Don't guilt her. Say, you know what? I understand. I've actually trained you to not trust my words. I'm cognizant of that, and I'm going to show you with consistency. And then you follow through with your actions. Response number 3 is she comes at you with anger. Anger is generally pain. It's the armor for the pain. If you meet anger with anger, you're going to lose your leadership in this moment. Your job is to be the steady one. So lower your volume and slow your pace and say, you know what? I hear that you're hurt. I don't want to fight you, honey. I'm here to understand what I've contributed. And then I ask her, what has been the hardest part for you? And then listen. The fourth response might be that she unloads years of pain. Guys, this happens when you open the door and she finally feels the permission to speak. Treat it as a gift. Don't try it, or a lot of men try and stop it. Okay, I get it. Don't do that. This is the moment where trust can start rebuilding. So what should you do? Don't interrupt her. Don't correct details. Don't defend your intentions. Reflect back. So what I'm hearing is, it sounds like you felt, that makes sense. You're not agreeing with her, You're acknowledging what she has to say. This is the best case, but it can still go wrong. Men get emotional, they overpromise, and then they disappear back into old patterns. Like I said, though, appreciate it when she does this because she feels safe. And stay grounded. Say, thank you for trusting me with that. I'm committed to rebuilding this with you. Then schedule the next conversation. That redemption that you're looking for in your marriage, it's going to be built through repetition and rhythm. Before I give you the script that I've been talking about, there's 4 ways that men sabotage this instantly. They start the talk with a complaint. They bring up 3 years of issues all at once. They try to resolve it in 60 seconds. And the last one, they say, we need to talk with a harsh tone. And then she braces for impact. We're not doing that. We're leading with ownership and we're leading with calm. All right, my man, here it is. Say this exactly like this. Slowly, calmly, with eye contact. No phone, no distractions, no multitasking. Hey, babe, I wanted to say something. And I'm not here to argue or defend myself. I've been avoiding a real conversation with you. And I can feel the distance that it's creating in between us. I'm sorry for being present in the house, but absent with my heart. I want to lead us better. And I want to hear you. Can we talk tonight for 20 minutes after the kids go down? I'll listen first. Then stop talking and let her respond. Your job's not to control the outcome, man. Your job is to show up like a man who is safe to be close to. Tonight's setup is simple. I want you to take this dang thing right here and put it in another room. I want you to sit facing her. I want your feet on the ground, your hands open, and take one slow breath before you speak to her. That breath, I want you to choose the leader that you show up as. Let's make this tactical for a minute. Today is day 0. Tonight, remove the distractions. Deliver the script. Give her 20 minutes where you listen first. We went through how to do that. Don't try and solve. Don't defend. Just receive. Day 1, tomorrow. Initiate a 10-minute follow-up. Tell her, thank you for last night. I'm still thinking about what you said. Is there one thing that you need from me this week that would help you feel more supported? And then I want you to actually do it. Now, within 48 hours, day 2, I want you to schedule a weekly rhythm with your wife. Let's call it the marriage briefing. 15 minutes, right? Same time every week. Short, structured, and calm. And I want you to work through 3 questions. Where did you feel loved by me this week? Where did you feel alone? And what's the one thing that we're doing next week to stay connected? This actually can turn your marriage into a living system. No longer a crisis response. Now listen, if this episode hit you in the chest, it's because you're not dealing with a communication issue. You're dealing with a formation issue. You weren't trained to lead emotionally. You weren't trained to bring your inner world home. You weren't trained to be steady when it gets intense. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. You don't need communication tips. You need a man rebuilt. Because your marriage, it doesn't follow your intentions. It follows your formation as a man. So there's two paths you can take. Path one, like always, is you can do it alone. Use that script that I gave you tonight. Start the marriage briefing this week. Keep showing up. Path two is let me help form you. If you're done living in cycles where you're strong at work, absent at home, then apply to work with me through the sacred code. You don't need more opinions. You need a system. A formation process that rebuilds the man from the inside out. Identity, alignment, vision, discipline, brotherhood, legacy. That's what I do. And if you're the man who's ready to come home, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, I'll show you how. And if you know a man who's successful on paper but absent at home, send him this episode. Don't send it to him to shame him, but to call him back. Men don't drift into legacy. They decide what their legacy will be.